Wow, this came a lot quicker than I expected it to. So we're back at it again with another Chug review, and as you guys already see from the title, we're taking a look at a couple of the most hated figures that fans of this community really don't like. But my unpopular opinion, I actually kind of like them. Leave your hate mail in the comments. But Dakota, Universe Ironhide and Ratchet are the worst figures of all time, you fucking moron! That is a strong opinion that I've heard from most of the community, yes. But I actually like these guys, and I'm going to get into why more on this guy once we talk about him. But first, we'll do the before. And what I mean by before is, this guy actually hasn't had any modding done to him whatsoever. I actually just got him in the mail today at the time of this recording. I think he looks pretty good, but he's definitely got the problems. Like the backpack coming up a little bit too high and the head just... One thing I'll say about the backpack is that it actually doesn't bother me. I mean, does this bother anyone? No? Then let's move on. Really, like I said, the main point of the problem is just his head going just like right down in his chest, like he's got some Why am I being so weird in this review today? Well, with this guy, you still have some access to some great posability. Swiveling joints, a wrist swivel, that's something that some figures today don't even have. Waist swivel, again, something that some figures today don't even have. And again, another thing that some figures don't even have today. Why are people giving these guys so much flack? An ankle pivot on a deluxe? How often do you see that? Most figures these days just have a sculpted A stance or just a flat surface foot. But you come around to the back and you see that his backpack actually has that awesome light bar that I talked about in the last review that I said we would go a little bit more in depth to in this review. Like I said, Ratchet here comes with the same light bar that's on Generations Red Alert, but is also on Universe Prowl, which I think this is where it started. And honestly, I'm fine with these guys all having the same light bar, just in different colors. Gives it the sense that these emergency vehicles all come from like the same place, which obviously they do. It's just a real nice sort of unification for them. I really like it. Plus the design's pretty sweet. So we took a look at the before shot, now let's take a look at the after shot. As you can see, Universe Ironhide has had some extensive work done to him, and if you want to know what extensive work I actually did a live stream on modding this guy for Rec Room. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to it down in the description, and in the description of that live stream, I actually left a link to the article that I used to follow along as a guide to help fix this guy. Anyway, enough of that, let's get on to talking about this guy himself. What these mods do is help bring up Ironhide's posture, make him look a little bit better, and you can see that in the before and after shot between these two. His backpack's snugged in a little bit more, his head is poking out a little bit more, which is great. You still have access to all his good posability. But there is something that I do want to point out to you guys if you are doing this mod. The way that I have his waist is tabbed in, but it isn't all the way pushed forward. Because if you push it all the way forward, his head comes out all the way, and it's like flat on there. You can see it's like flat on there with the rest of the top of the car. But what this does is it makes his waist really floppy, and it doesn't tab into the other part of the waist back here. So lately what I've been doing is I've just been pushing it back ever so slightly, so that way it'll tab in, but at the same time, making sure that his head still comes out just enough so that way it looks flat, but it'll be good enough. It kind of sucks that I can't have it all the way up with it being tabbed in, but it's the price that you kind of have to pay. I'm not knocking the modifications at all. It's kind of more of the thing with the figure. It's more of a thing with the bumper up here. And I've kind of shaved down on the bumper a little bit to kind of make it help a little bit more, but it's just a thing with the bumper. Is it a deal breaker for me? Honestly, not really. With it being tabbed in, you still get a really good head up here that's poking out a lot more than it was. Plus, with it tabbed in, you still get a good waist swivel, and it doesn't really move it at all. So, I think it'll be fine. Now, both these guys come with the same weapon, just Ratchet's is red and Ironhide's is gray. It's a little machine gun that has a scope right up here that's between these two things that kind of makes it useless, but whatever. But if you flip it around, becomes a little knife blade. I think our best friend Theo Adams said it best. Ours are fun. So what you want to do for the weapon is you want to flip away the hand and just put it against the side. Put whatever side you want on there so that way it'll just slide right on there. There's a couple of tabs that go right onto his arm. And then bam, you can have him have either a gun or a knife or whatever you want. In certain cases you can actually put this over the hand like that to kind of hide it away a little bit better. But it mostly works with the Gatling gun side so that way the knife is sticking out. With the knife in, it kind of breaks the mechanism almost. Not break, but like doesn't really do it any favors. So if you want the gun out like I know you'll want to for Ironhide, you'll probably want to flip away the fist just like that. Not really that big of a deal. And that's pretty much it for robot mode. Let's head over to vehicle mode. And so we get to the vehicle modes of these guys, where another one of the community complaints has come into play. These cars' panel lines are really kind of unsightly, and people really don't like them. But I'd like to bring up a point that the Lazy Eyebrow reviewer actually brought up in his review. If the new Masterpiece Megatron can have a gun mode the way that it does, and a back the way that it does, why are we giving these guys so much shit? Not to say that I hate MP Megatron, I've actually only heard great things besides the panel lines. But the complaint that this guy has too many panel lines really shouldn't be a complaint if we give that guy a pass. Anyway, moving on, we've got some nice vehicle mode weapon storage for the guns right under here, in both cars. And with this you can see exactly what else I did for Ironhide. Gave him his big yellow stripe, gave him a nice sunroof up here that's black, and painted these windows back here black as well. Not the front windshield or the back windshield, but the windows. And that's because his windows actually had the same Allspark blue that this guy has on his windows. Maybe I'll paint over his windows, maybe not, I'm not sure yet. But the Allspark blue definitely did not fit in here with Ironhide, and it was actually painted on his face as well, so I painted his face. And it was actually on his face as well, but I actually painted his face silver for that, just to make Ironhide feel a little bit more like Ironhide. Yeah, these guys are a little squished compared to some other SUV Transformers, but in all honesty, these guys are fine to me. I really don't mind how they look. I actually kind of like these figures as what they are. But you gotta remember, with figures coming out nowadays, if they're better, you gotta remember that these guys came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago. That's insane. But another question arises with this. In the last review, I showed that Ironhide actually got some new product pictures for a new toy of him coming from the War for Cybertron Siege line. Does that mean that we'll be getting a Ratchet from that toy as well? In all honesty, probably, because Hasbro gotta make that milk money! No, but in all seriousness, I think that a lot of fans would appreciate a new Ratchet figure as well, so please, Hasbro, that'd be great. You've been giving us such amazing figures for so long now with the Prime Wars Trilogy figures, and now with some new stuff that's coming out. Some of us don't mind the repaint remolds that you do. I'm one of those people who doesn't mind. So if we could get some good uses out of some of these molds that are coming in the future, that'd be amazing. Anyway, guys, I gotta head out now. I got a series to film and, ooh, a new figure to modify and paint. So anyway, guys, that's been another review from me. I've been 01 Trans Fan, and I'll talk to you all later. Take it easy.